Had a lot of survivor's guilt. Your partner died, but why didn't you die?
Things seem just so out of control.
Without God, can't make sense out of anything.
They won't have to worry about me. I won't let them down.
The 7 were extradited from Mexico, charged with murder, calls for a mandatory life sentence.
The only reason why he's here is by the grace of God.
I had to call the Zapata family and let them know there's no one in prison for the murder of their son.
We love to grill.
We're big foodie oriented.
My sister loves to bake.
We spend a lot of time together. We still, to this day, have a lot of meals together. Despite our busy schedules, when we can, we will eat together.
I'm 22. I graduated with a degree in communication and public relations and advertising.
She finds the humor in everything.
Sofia is a great sister, and I strive to be like her. I'm so thankful to have her in my life. Without her, especially throughout my whole life, things would have been really different. She's just like a built-in friend. It's the best.
He is one of my best friends. I love him. He is one of the biggest supporters of mine.
Victor Emilio is more serious. He's got an old soul, very noble, athletic.
I've been playing soccer my whole life, and this past season was my last soccer season. So it's been kind of a big change for me.
Very much like me.
I think my dad is the strongest person I've ever known. He's led by example of who I want to be.
He is one of my heroes. He's a wonderful father, and he's also an incredible influence on me and my brother. My mom, so incredibly compassionate. She just lights up every room she walks into.
I wish I could have been more like her. She's never negative about anything. She never gives up.
Open communication and trust and faith is the cornerstone of our family, for sure. You cannot have inner peace without faith. And when there's so much coming at you without God, you really can't make sense out of it, out of anything.
I'm so glad they like to spend time with us. I know how busy their lives are, all the stress they have to go under, and the fact that they make time to have fun with us is the best. We're big football fans, soccer, big boxing fans too. Just being able to share those hobbies with them is I'm thankful for it. It's the best.
We have all just become so close.
I've changed a lot. I've changed for the better. I don't sweat the small stuff anymore. I'm a very disciplined kid growing up. I'm a black belt in karate. I wanted things a certain way. If that pillow was moved, if I left it a certain way and it was moved, who moved it? That's the way I used to be. It doesn't matter to me anymore. There's other more important things in life to occupy yourself with. But what it did, it created a bond with my family and my kids.
I always knew there was risk in living in Mexico. I just never realized to the extent that it was going to change our family life, our relationships. I mean, everything that we knew just changed overnight.
The Mexican government, along with US law enforcement, picked these guys up pretty quick. There was 8 of them. 1 was presumed dead, so they caught 7 of them. The 7 were extradited from Mexico to the United States and were going to go through trial. They were charged with murder, attempted murder of an internationally protected person, and weapons charges. And I testified to it. These are not drug gangs. These are not street corner gangs. These are highly sophisticated networks. The vehicles they were driving were fleet vehicles. They were checked out. The weapons were checked out. They had fleet cards, just like any corporation in the US here. At least that came to light. And the Zeta's cartel was basically dismantled because of this case. Of the 7, 5 of them pled guilty to those charges. The sentence calls for a mandatory life sentence if you plead guilty to these charges. But our government departed from that sentence and sentenced these guys from 35 years down to 12, which is completely unacceptable to myself and the Zapata family. I didn't see these guys give up anything to merit being departed from a life sentence down to these type of years. The two that went to trial, the jury comes back with a guilty verdict. They get sentenced to consecutive life sentences. They were all happy. 2 years later, and get a phone call. They were appealing the fact that the murder statute that was used to convict him of the murder of Agent Zapata was invalid because a murder happened extraterritorially, meaning the murder occurred in Mexico, outside of the United States. And the DC Circuit Court of Appeals agreed with them and dismissed the murder charge. So I had to call the Zapata family and let them know that there's no one in prison for the murder of their son. I said, well, we have to do something about this. And so I get on the phone with the congressmen and senators that I knew, that I had met throughout these years. And I said, we got to change this law, and we did. It took 2 years. We passed the Jaime Zapata and Victor Avila Federal Officer and Employee Protection Act, at least to seek justice in the U.S., but not just for murder, but also for assaults on them and their family. There's a big signing ceremony, but we didn't get invited to the signing ceremony, even though the law bears our name. I didn't care about me. I said, why isn't the Zapata family present, standing behind the president? It has their son's name on it. That's the least they could do. And it hurt me. It was, I tell you, bittersweet, because it was a good moment. We passed a law, but they did it to me again. They're finally going to bring back those two defendants to re-sentence them. Well, we'll be there. Well, now we have to ask the judge to sentence these defendants back to life. 12 years later, we're still dealing with this. Our supervisors that sent us on that road, I don't believe that they say that I want Victor and Jaime to be killed. I don't believe that for a second. But the negligent decision that was made and ignoring everything around you, and when they didn't know and you pretend to know, it gets people killed, at least in my line of work. There's incompetence and there's other things that got in the way of their decision making.
Was it intentional? No. Was it 100% preventable?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I want to write a book. It took several years and we got the book done. The full title is Agent Under Fire, A Murder and a Manifesto. Bring awareness. I'm a big advocate for border security and awareness of human trafficking. And by writing the book, it opened me to at least have some speaking engagements and go around the country, start speaking about it. I started being called on to do media hits regarding border security. That's my expertise. And I still do that.
As I've grown up, I've obviously learned more, more details about the case. And whenever I go with my dad all the time, when he goes to speak for these speaking gigs, he gives a presentation about everything that happened. And sometimes I learn a lot that I didn't know before. So even now, almost recently, I've learned so much about that day that I didn't know happened at all.
For me, really, it's, being a supportive parent, a supporting wife. I'll continue to work, but I think most importantly, my most important role is being a mom and being a wife. Everything else is second.
Our goal is not to forget that this ever happened and erase it from our memories. No, the goal is what we're doing now. And success is living.
And success is a complete family.
And it's being with our family.
It definitely crossed my mind that, he could have been the one to have died. And the only reason why he's here is by the grace of God. And it was really nothing short of a miracle.
I think our faith
Sofia
is always
started,
in the background.
It's always been part of our lives.
It has to be.
And we have, just like our parents passed it on to us, we have passed it on to our kids. You talk to God and you ask Him for guidance, for help.
God has helped our family. He's the one that really, truly shapes me how I'm gonna be.
When there's tragedy, we find a way out of it. And it's all because of Him. And so I think our kids have seen that.
I've learned the difference between praying out of need and want and doing it more so because I'm grateful, or even waking up in the morning and being like, thank you for this new day.
God comes first. I thank Him for waking up and going to bed each night.
We could have been an incomplete family, and we're not. We've grown so much stronger.
God has given us the opportunity to do something. Here it is. What are you doing? I'm giving you the opportunity. You just can't. Well, I'm waiting. No, we have to recognize
Yes.
the ability to do something about that opportunity. I had a lot of survivor's guilt after the shooting. Your partner died, but why didn't you die? I didn't know the answer, but the answer was very clear the whole time. It was because God wanted me here. It was because God had a purpose for me. Maybe there is more. Maybe I do have a purpose here to give back, helping other people by sharing my story now. But it's simply as maybe just to see my kids grow up and to help my wife raise my children and to be a family, simple as that.
Instead of being angry with the trauma or this, this tragedy that happened, I took it more so as like something to be grateful about, because I do still have my dad here with me.
It's something I'm gonna keep with me for the rest of my life. As a family, that was our lowest point. All we had was each other. Now we have such a great life.
When things seem just so out of control, just knowing that the people that support you and love you are really just your family.
It does get better, and whatever you're thinking or whatever's going through your head, however how miserable you are in your life right now, things will get better with time. I don't even know how else to say thank you. They're the reason why I am who I am today. If it wasn't for their strength, I feel like the situation we were put in could have gone so many different ways. And for us to have this outcome makes me realize how lucky I am to have them as parents. I would want to let them know now that they won't have to worry about me, that I won't let them down in the future, because the chances and the life they've given me, for them to look past all their other troubles in order for me and my sister to have a good life, I think is the most impactful part about their parenting.
When you pray, and I think that when you have faith and when you put your family first, I think you can't go wrong.
Sofia with an F.
Sofia with an F.
Oh, she'll tell you.
F, not PH. The dream is to work at either a marketing department or an in-house public relations department at either a big makeup company or the Dallas Cowboys.
I chose business right now. I'm not totally sure what I'm really gonna do specifically with my life, but yeah, I'm thinking about it.
God is love, and love comes from God. In 1 John, the Bible tells us that God is not only all-loving, but that He actually is love itself. The heart of the Parent Compass television show is to bring the transforming love of God to families everywhere. In every Parent Compass episode, true stories reveal family struggles and how their lives were radically changed by the love of God. Parent Compass, an award-winning television series, is completely funded by people like you. If you have been touched by God and you want to share God's love to others, would you please pass it on? Jesus tells us to go into all the world and to tell about Him. With your donation, you allow us to take this television show into many different nations and in many different languages, free of charge. And a portion of your donation goes to Parent Compass Outreach to feed starving children. Your gift does so much. To make your tax-deductible gift, go to parentcompass.tv/donate. That's parentcompass.tv/donate. And thank you for sending love and hope around the world.